All right, welcome to FTC TV, back in the building. Your boy, J Movie Man, a.k.a. Jason Barrett, and...
Richard Blackwood, the first and only black man on TV.
In England.
In England.
In England.
The whole of England.
He's black man in England. Only one. I'm the only one. Everybody else is mixed race.
This is true.
But we are here with another dynamic episode, kickstarting our season 2. Season 2, baby.
Well done.
Come on.
What? Because season 1 was yesteryear.
Bruv, what can I say?
12.
Just onwards and upwards.
Yeah.
Onwards and upwards. And to kickstart, this is what we call poetry in motion. Because the very, very first episode of For the Culture that we shot was with this man. It was our pilot episode.
I was just about to say, it was like the pilot.
It was the pilot episode. It was a pilot episode. And we had internationally acclaimed movie star, scholar, par excellence, Aml Ameen.
Are you talking about me?
But that episode didn't go out. You know, there were complications and the episode didn't go out. So it's mad that for season 2, episode 1, in the building, ladies and gentlemen, Aml Ameen, baby.
See you. We see you. Cameras. We've got 3 cameras.
3 cameras.
3 cameras. We only had
Thank you
2
very much,
cameras.
my
The first one, I
boys.
think.
It's good to have you here, bro.
Reunited, it feels so good.
Come on, what are you even doing in the UK?
I'm here
What
for...
are you even doing in the UK?
I'm here
You're an
for
LA guy now.
one wedding and a funeral.
Oh, snap.
not even lying.
4 weddings and a funeral.
Yeah,
one wedding and a
what-
funeral.
oh,
We're
snap.
going to make movies out of it. We're going to do.
No doubt. No
We
doubt.
gonna do. We gonna do.
We
I
gonna
like
do.
it.
Hey, come on, take it easy. Right? But listen, right? Okay. So for people that, the 2 people out there don't know, you was just recently in the movie Yardie, and not in you was a star of the movie Yardie.
Yeah.
Whoa. Before we go there, let's take it back.
Okay, because
Let's
I
take
was
it
gonna
back,
kind
'cause-
of go there to go back.
Okay, no, I like it.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking, let's go from the gate because, you know, we touched on all those things in the last interview that we done. Like I said, it didn't go out.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So let's talk about how it all started.
Well, it was all a dream. I used to read the
Word
Voice
Up magazine.
Richard Black was on the cover of the scene. No, I mean, it's you know, congratulations, guys, man. Season 2.
Boom.
Massive thing. I'm a big fan. I watch it when I'm at home in Los Angeles, and it just gives me great insight, not to only entertainment, but what's going on in the community in England. So massive congratulations.
Thank you, my bro.
Yeah, I'm an actor. I don't know. It's hard to start. I guess I started when I was 6 years old. I went to stage school. Stage schools I almost think don't exist anymore. But I went to stage school from 6 to 16 years old. And you know, I was very inspired by old movies. I grew up with my father was in entertainment. He was in a group called the Bitches in the Caribbean, and he came over.
Only Bilal.
He came over to the UK. Met my mum one night, some red wine, and Mel was born. And literally, after that, you know, I was just entertainment's in the blood. And so I have a big family. We used to do a lot of storytelling at home and everything. But I think it was Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone, mixed with Thundercats, mixed with 1940s movies like James Cagney movies and Jimmy Stewart's movies. That made me want to become an actor.
Yeah.
And I went to my dad. I was like, Dad, can I be an actor? And he's like, you sure, son? I said, yeah, Daddy, can I be an actor? He's like, all right. And so he sent me to...
All right.
You make sure now. He sent me to stage school, and I went to stage school from 6 to 16, where I mainly did entertainment, like, you know, a lot of West End plays, Oliver and Jolson, with Brian Conley and Barry Humphries in the West End.
Was Mo George in that one?
Mo George was actually the original. He was the original Sammy Davis Jr. He was the first.
He can dance, you know. Don't play with him, you know.
I'm going to call you about that. I got something for us.
Okay.
But Mo George was the first person to play Sammy Davis Jr. as a kid.
Wow.
And then I came in second or third.
Okay.
To play Sammy Davis Jr. as a kid, because we all tap dance.
Mr. Bojangles.
We're stage school kids, so that's what we did. And then worked with Michael Jackson when I was 11 years old.
All right. So let's break that down.
Yeah.
Hold on, 96. So that's the Jarvis Cocker year, right?
That's the Jarvis Cocker year.
Yes!
Jarvis Cocker came on stage, showed his ass. Michael.
So he was one of the kids on the stage at that.
I got the turban on. I'll bring it up for you. We'll find it.
That's a famous. Yeah.
Oh snap! Okay.
Memory lane, man.
Ain't that so weird? Because I feel like I was a big man then.
Yeah.
Right, do you know what I mean? It's like, I had a beard.
Yeah.
I had a beard when that was on. Like, what?
Yeah, that was a big thing in my life. I was watching that the other day, and you try to go back to who. I've asked my question, so who are you at the core? Mm-hmm. And I looked at that, and I'm the kid that was standing there with my friend Jamie Sweeney on stage, and I was meant to be standing right next to Michael, right up front and center, and Jamie was standing in front of me on the stage performance.
No.
And I literally take a step forward, I put Jamie back during the actual performance and said, no, I'm meant to be standing at the mic. I was like, no, that's who you are. The 10-year-old, 11-year-old child did that. And then so I did a lot of, stuff in school, and then I just decided when I left school, one, I want to have a very normal experience. So I went to a normal college in North London, Barrett. And two, that I wanted to become like an actor, like straight actor, as in no musical theatre, none of that, no dancing anymore, just acting. And I went just through the grind of that, man. 17 years old. The first job I got that took me away from everything, away from my one job I ever had, was Slam Dunk.
Okay.
With Richie Campbell.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Richie Campbell was the star of it, and I was an ensemble.
Okay.
So I was an ensemble character. So if any one of them got injured, I'd be the person.
Like understudy kind of thing.
All of them got injured a lot.
Right.
So just saying, I ended up becoming the guy that would do Richie's part and Kurt's part, and then jobs and jobs afterwards, and then happened.
You both started in the Bill, didn't you, as well?
We did. The Bill came later.
Yeah.
Because of our friendship there, they were looking for my cousin in the TV show The Bill, and they were auditioning. Everyone said, "No, it's got to be Richie. It's got to be Richie. It's got to be Richie."
You guys were solid in
Richie.
that, man.
We were great,
big
man.
episode.
If I may say so myself. Yeah. And the reason I say that is because we really dealt with the nuances of what it would be to be family members, to be brothers, and also for the first time establishing what the Ebonics are of British our culture. I remember doing The Bill, and they would be like, Mel, you got to say mate. And I'd be like, no 17, 18-year-old black boys saying mate like that. Yeah. We got new slangs, and so we'd incorporate that, and it was very fun. And then Kidulthood and The Bill happened at the same time. 2006.
Okay, that's right. Yeah.
I mean,
so that's the beginning of my British career, guys.
Kidulthood was like, it was massive. I mean, and to this day, to this day, people
crazy.
still.
I went to see the cinema, and I think I called you. I spoke to you and Adam Deacon on the phone. I'd just come out of the cinema. Right, I went to see it in Croydon, and you guys went to. I think you went to see it at another cinema. Blah blah. And I'm just saying how good it was. I actually remember that. Was that 2006?
It changed the culture.
2006.
It changed the culture. I think.
I call it the grime film.
I think it changed
the film
culture.
that first. It's the childhood film to a lot of people's lives, It
is.
And young people keep revisiting it, and it's amazing. At that time, it did impact crazy. It was like wildfire, but just 10 years on, you realise, well, not 10 years, 13, 14 years on, you're like, wow, this has really had an impact.
What I found interesting about it, and because I remember when Kidulthood, when it landed, and like you said, I was a big man, and I remember talking to a friend of mine, and she had a daughter coming of age, and she was like, I've got to make sure my daughter watches this film, and to open up discussions about some of the things that
were taking place. Yeah.
You understand what I'm trying to say to you? And I just remember thinking, so it impacted on the culture in so many different ways, but that was one of the ways that it was almost a teaching tool. Like, this is happening, this is what's going on, and you need to be aware of that.
Even for me, when I read the script, it was teaching to me, because I grew up in a quite sheltered environment, growing up in a stage school. So a lot of the things that the girls were getting up to, that wasn't a reality for me growing up, And I always say that it was and it's for actors out there, life experiences really help in teaching you how to empathise with other people. So had I just gone from stage school into that, I probably wouldn't have got the job. It was my 2 years in a normal college and soaking up the culture of the time that really kind of ushered my time into that.
Because you are, without doubt, one of the leading actors out there, and I'm sure there are many budding actors that are out there that want to ask, is every role for everyone?
questions,
Do you know what I mean? So,
But also I'd say that, you know, different characters leave you with different things, you know. So in playing Trife, you know, being a stage school kid and then really understanding the verbiage, and I became a bit of Trife, like in my real life, you know, and that still sticks. You know, playing someone like Lewis Hardy, I was able to more play from the bill. I was able to play more parts of myself, you know. But that was my journey in the UK, and I decided, you know, very early on, from a child, when I was 11, that, you know, I want to get out of here. I want to be on that platform. All my heroes, acting-wise, were there. You know, I didn't see anybody outside of Will Smith and that really kind of, I was like, okay, that's what it's going to be. You know, that's what it's going to be. In fact, Richard Blackwood, you're one of the first people I thought, okay, you can be yourself. You can look and sound like us and be in the, you know, the big light. In fact, I'll tell a quick story for the people. When I was 17 years old, I was doing Slam Dunk at the Hackney Empire, and I heard Richard Blackwood he was hosting something there. I came down and I waited in my car, my red Corsa with little rims, and nice rims and everything. Red Corsa, cost me about £2,000, pimping back in the day. A 17-year-old boy.
That's right.
Jumping out of the car, and I was like, excuse me, Mr. Blackwood, Mr. Blackwood. He said, hey, how you doing, boy? How you doing? How you doing? I was like, listen, you don't know me, man. You're an inspiration to me, but, you know, you will know me one day. You will know me one day. And I just got in the car.
What did he say?
He was like, all right then. That's exactly. He said, all right then. Good luck. So I was like a ballsy little 17-year-old kid, you know, looking at him like, listen, you're an inspiration to me, but you will know me one day. Right, and he was like, well, all right then, good luck with that, young man. Exactly. And then I got in the car, zoomed off, and I was like, yo, I just spoke to Richard Blackwood, man. I told him that he's gonna know me, and my boys were like, all right, bro.
No, but I would have respected that.
And guess what?
I knew exactly what you know.
Hey, you look out all yourself, right? You look out all yourself.
I didn't know you was. What about it?
Hey, I'm here.
You're right here, right now. Right here. But you know what? I can tell you one thing.
Do you remember that?
No, I do. And I'll tell you the reason why. Because one thing about me is that, me and Jason have spoken about this. This is going to sound really horrible, don't like people asking me for stuff, right? I'm my granddad's, I was raised by my grandparents. I am my granddad's son, right? The older I get, the more of him is coming out of me. And I love it, but it's like I hate it because I knew he was such a hard man. My granddad's philosophy was work. Just go and get it yourself. If you don't have it, you don't have it, right? Until you have it, you don't have it, right? So I have people come up to me saying, could you post this for me, or could you do this for me, could you do that? And the real rich wants to say, no, I don't know you, right? but I find myself going, yeah, you know what, I'll take a listen because that's the nice part of me, right? So like, you come up going, you will know me one day. That's the reason why I'm saying, that's right, because my attitude is, go get that, right? I love things like that, because guess what? That's what I would have said, right? Do you know what I mean? Right, when I interviewed Eddie Murphy and he was horrible to me, blah, blah, I shook his hand and I goes, you're going to see me again, right? You know what I mean? He looked at me and I squeezed his hand and I goes, no. You're going to see me again.
I did try and squeeze him, but it didn't have much of an effect.
I would have felt it. I would appreciate that. Okay.
No.
Look at his shoulders.
I wouldn't have felt that. I
would have appreciated it, though, right? But that's what I'm trying to say. So you had that gut. You see, that's the thing, though. Like, I obviously know you now, but you had that thing in you from mad young. And I want to ask you, do you think that's something that people can develop, or do you think that's just something that's innate in certain people?
That's a great question. I think that I think it's innate.
Yeah.
I do.
Really?
Yeah. I think you can develop anything, but I think it's a bit of nurture and it's innate.
Yeah.
And I say that because I look at my father, right? And I think we're cultivated in that environment.
Yeah.
So we were pushed out in front of the world, right? But I do think there is an innate thing. There's an innate fire that I know all of us have, and some people have, to go out into the world and go and claim what they believe is theirs.
Yes.
And I think I don't think everybody feels that way.
Yes.
I don't even think I'm not even saying that that's the thing to be. Some people don't some people want a just peaceful life. I think you asked me a question years ago, you know, a life of meaning or a life of happiness. Which one would you choose? And I thought it was a very compelling question, because some people are just interested in having
a life of happiness.
A life of happiness and simplicity, and it's a beautiful thing. And that's one of the things we don't, you know, we don't talk about a lot with what we do because we're hungry people.
Yes.
But if you come down to the basis of, for me, why I tell stories is about those people. It's about those people that just want to fall in love, want to have children, you know, or those people that are going through a difficult time of losing someone, you know? So for me, that's what I always get back to is those people, actual people. But yeah, so just to conclude, and then I met Jason on the bill.
Yes.
And, you know, he was on the bill and I found him extremely inspiring. And then the fact that you were all connected, you know, was a brilliant thing.
Because you saw us in the trainer shop. You don't remember this.
Wood Green.
It wasn't good. It was in Kilburn.
Okay.
Kilburn High Road.
Okay.
And you came into the shop and you was talking about the stuff that you was going on to do. Like I said, how's it going and blah blah. And you said you're doing this and doing that. And you kind of just went, anyway, I'm bouncing. You got a pair of trainers and you left. I don't think you kind of knew him then. I think you met him after that.
This would have been before, just after Kidulthood and just before the bill.
Yes. Yeah, you came in, right? And I just remember saying, that boy's got, like, he's just a go-getter. Like, he's just not having it. Because it was nice because you had a bit more of a cockiness. You were just like, yeah, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Anyway, listen, B, bam. And you just out. And I was just like, all right. Like, all
right then. When I write the movie that you're in, I'll be like, that's going to be all right then.
All right then. Right, but it was nice because you could see the growth. You could see that you were growing into, you know, like somebody like I had to grow into my ears. My ears are always there. It's like you grew into who you really was when you was young.
Well, it's funny because when we met on the bill, I was an extra on the bill, and anyone that's done extra work before, you know the difference, the country mile of difference between the treatment of extras and the treatment of the main artists. And one of them is in particular around food. So basically, the extras, you got to wait down the road somewhere while everyone else eats.
No, further down the road.
Yeah. No.
In front of you
Go further.
Go an hour.
Right. Main artists kind of keep to themselves. Supporting artists, essays were extras.
Essays, yeah.
They sit over there somewhere. And I remember I was sitting on my own eating, and Mel came over and said, do you mind if I join you? And I was like, yeah, cool. And I was thinking, rah, because he was one of the main.
Of course.
And I was really surprised, and we had a beautiful conversation, and I just remember thinking, that nice young man.
That nice man.
That nice man.
Good old
Can't wait for him to grow into his ears.
Them ears, them too big, you know?
But even then, I just felt there was definitely a maturity. There was, and I knew there would be big things, and you know, we developed a friendship from there. And I remember when you said to me that you was going to LA.
Oh, while I was on the bill. Are you going to admit to it? You're going to admit to it?
I'm going to own it. I want to hear it.
I want to hear it. Go ahead.
I actually told him not to go. No, I'm gonna own it. I'm gonna own it. I told him, because he was on the bill at the time, that check was coming in, and I was like, you know what, bro, you're doing and the character was so loved.
It was,
you know, it was such an iconic character for that show. You know what I mean? And I was just thinking, nah, you're just gonna just go like that? Nah, I just don't think you should do it, bro. Always take the money, man. The money's on the table. And he was like, okay, you finished? Because you know I'm out.
Yeah.
And it's one of the. I'm so glad you didn't take my advice. I'm so glad.
We're walking near my house in LA.
Yes.
And I live by the beach, and he was like, Mel's?
You see beach?
He's like, Mel's? Mel's? But you know what? You know, that comment, and I love this platform because I love that we're just talking freely. That comment was about love.
Yeah.
It came from a place of love and wisdom.
Fear for you as well.
And wisdom and experience. But sometimes I feel like we need to take all those things into account and still dare to dream, dare to go forth. Because, you know, your experiences, people come up to me about advice all the time, and I keep it very honest and say, bro or sis, this business is nonsensical. I can give you all the advice in the world, and then tomorrow, you know, everybody's talking about you, and I'm where I'm at, you know, or vice versa. And so it's very important to go with your instincts and your gut on things and leap forward, you know.
Yeah.
We're all out of it. We're all on a timer anyway.
Yeah, we are.
You know, so go forward towards that life that you want to live. And I continue to do that. You know, I've done it in different circumstances, different intervals of my career, where I've heeded advice or gone against someone's advice, felt the burn, and it's actually taken me to another step. You know, so not only was it Jason, but I remember my agent saying the same thing. You know, they were like, "Yeah, there's not enough heat on you. You know, people don't know who you are. Go there once you've established yourself." And I said, all right, I understand. I'm going. I'm going. And I hope you do it with me, but even if you can't, I got to go. And in 2009, I went to America, and true to what they said, everybody said no. No, I'll just come back with more experience. You're real, it's amazing. And, you know, I'd done Fallout in between this. I'd done, you know, plays at the Tricycle. I'd done Silent Witness. So there's stuff in between it. And everybody said no. And then one person, my manager, said, do you know what? As I'm getting on the plane, yes, I'm going to represent you, right? And I went back to London for a year and would send auditions back and forth and all the rest of it. And I remember one just hitting. It was in December of 2009, late December. I was actually meant to do a play the next year, and my back went out. It's a very famous play that went on to do really well. I was meant to do that play, but my back went out. It was a boxing play. I couldn't do it. And I was like, oh, my God. And I was watching Entourage at the time, so I was taking in the whole LA thing. And then one thing hit, and they said, you know what? We're going to fly you out tomorrow to test at ABC Studios for this TV show called Detroit 187. Anybody knows my career, I didn't do Detroit 187.
No, I was going to say, I missed that.
Right, so I flew out there, and I just had this sincere focus of, I want to change my life. I said to myself, I'm not telling anybody. Twitter was just beginning just then. I'm not announcing it. I'm keeping it very in-house, what's happening. And I went there and I did the studio test. They loved it. And then the network, they was like, we really like what you're doing, but we're going to go this way. And I was heartbroken. And I just remember being in the hotel room and everything changing in that moment. All the applause dying down, the red carpet treatment dying down, the car taken away from you dying down, good luck on your way to the airport, that kind of thing. And because of the support of my core group, my family, they're like, just stay out there. Stay out there. You're there now. You're where you want to be. Someone's taking you there. You're in that world. And even my manager said, stay out there. And literally 13 days later, I would get a straight offer for a show called Harry's Law.
Which
by David E. Kelly.
I watched that.
David
I thought he was
Kelly.
brilliant in that.
Thank you, bro. And Kathy Bates would
Kathy Bates,
on
massive.
board. And that would not only like change my life and my career, but, you know, and I don't think anyone would feel too bad about me saying this, but it would become a symbol for all of the actors of my generation to come.
Definitely.
Being one of the first young
and whoever
people.
doesn't want to say that's just hating. Whoever didn't, straight. If any of the young guys and ladies that are out doing it now are going to turn around and say that they didn't take inspiration from that, I'm sorry.
I remember you when I heard you. I think you told me you was going to be on it.
1 second, just pause there, because something just kind of hit my spirit, and even me, you know, me and Aml are as close as me and you, and I don't even know what 1 to 13 means. I know a lot of people out there, and I just heard him say, and 13 days later. Is that 1 to 13?
What was your question, Richard?
Sorry.
Nice try.
Yeah. And it was smooth
Live
as well.
on TV.
Yeah. Your question, Rich. Smooth. Just segue over. Yeah, we weren't going to get it answer. Right? But, no, I forgot my question. But no, I was saying that I remember you told me he was going to be in it. And I watched the first episode. And then I remember we was talking about it. And I said, and you said, do you watch it? And I said, no, I actually love the show.
Yeah,
I genuinely like
it was great.
It was just a good show. Like I was invested in your character, the woman that you ended up. Did you become a love match?
Yeah, Brittany Snow.
Yeah, right. And it was like I was just really into it. And then when it stopped, I was just like, why? Because it was so good. But I think that what it did for you was it cemented you. Because, I mean, you were on screen with Kathy Bates. I mean, like...
Yeah, who's honestly, like, been... great relationships are a beautiful thing, especially when they're genuine.
Facts.
And she's been, like, a dear friend and a mother to me out there, you know.
Wow.
So that is amazing. But I have to just say, for the excitement bit, and actors know this, there is nothing like getting that job, right? And I even tell you about the call. I'm there, my agent calls me in that moment. I'm in Frances Fisher's house. She's an actress that was in Titanic. I was staying with her. And my agent called, so Aml, I was like, hey, how you doing, Dave? You know, and then there's loads of people on the call. So, buddy, looks like you're, do you like LA? I'm like, yeah, I'm loving it here, man. Why? Why?
Why?
He goes, buddy, it's something I've never heard of. They're giving you a straight offer for Harry's Law, no auditioning. David E. Kelly loved your tape, and boom. So that's you, man. Congratulations, your life has changed. Congratulations, your life has changed.
Your life has changed.
And I tell you, it felt like peace.
Wow.
And anybody out there that's going after whatever they want in life, when that moment hits, you know what I mean, when luck and preparation come together with a bit of like blessings.
How you doing, people? My name's Jason Barrett, and I am the writer and creator of Heru, book 1 in a 5-part book series, available now on digital download and perfect paperback. www.javiancomics.com. Check it out, go purchase it, download it, buy it, gifts for kids, gifts for adults. This one is for the culture.
Yes, so got the job, and Frances Fisher was like, and shout out to Frances, she was like, so I'm going to this event with a lot of my old friends, a lot of old people. Do you want to come? And I was like, sure, I'm celebrating. She goes, of course, come. And you know, I'm at this place, and all of a sudden, these old friends of hers are, hey, Bobby, this is Aml. Aml, this is Bobby De Niro. And I'm like, what? What? You know what I mean?
You know you got to. You know you got.
And there was different people like Billy Crystal and Morgan Freeman. And
just sit over it.
There's a lot of great people there, and it was a magical moment in my life and career, man. And yeah, the show didn't last, but you know,
We did 2 seasons, right?
We did 2 seasons, yeah. But it's interesting how those things, that the show not lasting gave me the hunger to go after, to even hone it more, outside of just the enjoyment of just being in there and everything being like that, honing more about what I wanted in my career, you know, and that was to do, you know, movies and TV shows that are just like affect culture and have an impact and make history. And so I was just streamlining things after that. You know what I mean?
How do you feel about stage? Sorry. How do you feel about stage? Because I know you said you've done a few stage bits, but you don't, to me, you're a movie star. Like, and obviously TV now, TV and movies are now kind of the right shows. It's kind of the same, you know, whereas once upon a time, TV was seen as a downgrade, but I think it's become so, things like
it's the best stuff. It's like arguable, what's better, Game of Thrones or Ed Game, right?
Exactly.
Right.
So it's kind of changed the horizon, but theatre, because you're an actor's actor, you know, months of preparation and all of that for your parts, but you don't seem like a theatre guy to me. Does that make sense? Whereas those seem like, I'm an actor, you know, I'm at the Royal Court or wherever. They seem like the actors, but to me, you seem more like a movie star. Like, how do you feel about theatre?
That sounds nice, Jay. Thank you. I'll take that. I love theatre. I need to go back to it.
Okay.
Theatre made me get the job I got in America.
Okay.
I just came off doing, you know, Kwame Kwei-Mars plays and
Shout out Uncle Kwams.
Bola Agbaje. You know, those series of plays, and so my mind was so sharp. My mind was just so sharp. But I think for an actor, when you're building your career in a particular way, it's at different intervals. I'll do something, but I've spoke to Kwame, obviously runs the Young Vic, and we spoke about collaborating, but it has to be the right thing in the right moment and be impactful. And I want it to be something that incorporates my younger career. So I want it to be something with
I'm trying to get them both down, actually. I'm trying to get Kwame and Bola actually down to talk about, it's a must.
Done deal, though, isn't it?
It's a must, yeah.
It's a done deal.
It's a must.
So then, let me ask you, was Maze Runner that came much later, or did something happen between that?
Yeah, so you had Harry's Law, then you had The Butler.
Oh, yeah, of course.
With Lee Daniels.
Yes.
as an actor, The Butler changed me the most I've ever shifted as an actor.
Okay.
Lee Daniels, I would credit for a complete, like, just a door just going dum. You know, like you're in, I guess, the Maze Runner, right? You're in the maze, or, you know, Indiana Jones is like, dum, you've got the key. He really shifted my consciousness as an actor, and just being around the likes of, you know, Clarence Williams III and working with those people, just wanted to rise to the occasion. After that came the Maze Runner.
Were you in Red Tails?
Red Tails, yeah, but Red Tails was in 2009 before I even came to America.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. But, so there was The Butler, then Maze Runner, then Sense8.
That's right.
Then
You did like a standalone, you did a standalone episode of CSI.
That was just after the Harry's Law.
Okay.
That was just after Harry's Law. And then, well, I guess, Daraju, and which is a South by Southwest film. And
there's a film where I think you're in one scene. I love that film, man.
Gugu's film.
Gugu's film.
Beyond the Lights.
Yes, Beyond the Lights. Nate Parker.
Oh, wait, no,
Nate
who was in that?
Parker's
What's the woman's name that was in that?
Gugu and Bartha Raw.
That's it, yes.
Yeah. And just that one scene.
Yeah.
I love that scene.
People come up to me about that scene all the time. I literally based it on my cousin and Puff Daddy. I said, the clip is so official now.
I love that scene, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's mad, the things that kind of stand out. But I mean, you've had a great career. Then obviously, kind of we move into Yardie.
When I was a boy, my brother would always ask me which way you're gonna go. Will you go with the righteous, or will you go with the damned? This is a story about the path I chose.
Yardie, because that's what the point I was making, is that there's only so many films that I watch a number of times and not get bored or fall asleep. Yardie, for me, and I said it to you at the time, and I totally mean it. I mean, I bought Yardie on iTunes, right? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a film that, for me, as soon as I saw it, I said it to Jason, I said, no, it's up there now.
I loved it.
It's up there with the greats. I said it to you, and I told you about the scene. It's the little things that you did. I already know you're an exceptional actor, and anybody that's watched you would know that you're like, there's nothing you can't do on that screen. But it's when you went into the apartment, when you came back in, right, and you was vexed and you was letting off, right, and then she's cussing you, and you just looked at her and you gave this look and you went, you know, get it to know. And I just went, oh my God, because people would miss that, right? Do you know what I mean? And it was just so, because it was just a little thing you did with your tongue, and you're just looking at her, and you saw the element of the crazy in him. Like, I'm a killer, you know, right? Do you know what I mean? Even though it's you and I've known you from when we were a child, so there's a level of respect I'll give to you, but it's like you're forgetting who I am. And it was just that look that you gave her, even though she would always give it to you because that's who she represented to you, but it was just the look you gave her when you said, and it could have been missed, because it was so Jamaican, right? You know, get it to know.
I think for me it was the transition. Like, I remember watching that. I watched that one of the pre-screenings, and I thought it was going to be a good film. Yeah, I thought it was going to be a good film. I was looking forward to it. The hype around the collaboration with Idris and all of that. You know, Idris Elba's directorial debut, starring Aml Ameen. It's beautiful. It's a good look. It's a good look. And so I'm looking forward to it, and I'm thinking, is he going to be able to get the accent? You know, that's going to be important there. You know, if he gets the accent wrong, you know, it could be a bit. It could be a bit of a problem, you know. And the thing is, we were in Jamaica for a bit as well. You know what I mean? And whatever he's doing, he's researching that, and I was thinking, and then just the openness. There's a scene
that's his bit,
where you're riding on a moped with dreadlocks, and you're going, yeah. And I'm telling you, I thought, hold on a minute, who's that?
You embodied, that scene embodied the character though. It was the
transform. I said, no, wait there. I didn't know Aml could act.
No, it really, that scene.
Oh, man.
Man. I think that film.
I really enjoyed it, and I did a review on it as well. And I also like, it wasn't just your performance. Chantel Jackson's performance was great, really good. She's definitely one to watch. And I liked Stevie G. I like Stevie Graham's performance. I know people are trying to say the accent or whatever, but his performance overrid that.
What I love about Stephen Graham's performance, and what's amazing about films, is that once you have enough distance on it, you can become a fan of the movie yourself.
Yes.
If you indeed like it. And he's a great actor, man.
I'm telling you,
a different gear.
And it's just the things that become iconic about the things he's done. Like, that, the reason we love Goodfellas, for example, there is a charm and there is a quirkiness at times that lives outside of the norms of us just talking every day. So when Rico is like, you know, Emma, just take it. Yeah, get your car. No, just take it. You know, or he's like, oh, yeah, get the natty sniff. You want a sniff? Between the accents, I thought everybody did such a terrific job on that.
Can I say something on that as well? Because I said to him when we went to the premiere, I said, like, and I didn't really see what people's comments were about him, but anybody that was of the age group to remember the 80s, right, and once again, this is my old hat now, you had like my dad and my mum that came over when they was young. So they were prime examples of that, which is that they would go from British to Jamaican in the same sentence. And it just was what it was. We came along and found the merge. So we said, what cuz? And we kind of kept it British, but we had a little
flavors. Yeah.
Like, there you go. But they would go from, I tell them, you know, shut up, mate. They didn't have the crossover like we did.
The extremes.
The extremes. They were two extremes. So my dad, I used to say that my dad...
It's hot pepper and chips.
There you go. So my dad, in the house, it's when he was vexed. So he said, Richard, man, go. And then I'll say, if I'm cheeky, he'll say, then it will come. So me and my brother used to take the mic and say, when dad's vexed, he'll go, what do this? That's how my dad would... But otherwise, he was very English. Yeah. Right? My mum...
But you're going back to your primal language when you're upset,
There you go. So he was doing that in the film, and I said to him, I loved it because... I think you would have to be of a certain generation to respect the fact that that's what they did.
And Idris wanted that.
Yes.
Idris made sure that he wanted, like, him and Calvin, who plays Styx, to have those kind of crossover accents.
Yes.
To really represent the time.
And I think, sorry to cut you, but I think that was missed on a lot of people, and it's that lack of understanding.
It is.
And that lack of understanding, when we talk about a cosmopolitan society, that's part of it. I remember walking down Lumpet Hill in Lewisham one time.
Lumpet
Hill in Lewisham, and there was a scaffolding up, and it was near the food shop, and old yard man, probably 70, had his hat on, suit jacket, you know, the ones there with newspaper under his arm. Look, he'd just come from the bookie shop. And there was a white brother on the scaffolding, coming down the scaffolding, and my man's gone to him, what happened to no? How long you ever take to fix up the place? And he went, come on, mate, we're doing our best. And I thought, you understood him. Do you get what I'm trying to say to you? He is, right. Give us a bit. And I thought, wow, check that.
Well, Jamaican culture is the fabric of that British evolution to what we have today.
Facts.
Talk it, because I know there's other people out there don't like this, but you got to talk it.
No, it's just true, isn't it? You know, everything has its seasons. But even the way we talk today, the fusion of music, you know, the development of, you know, Afro beats and swing, it comes from that Jamaican dancehall culture. It comes from, like, you know, the Windrush 1949, those people come into the country. And also, it's where they decided to frequent and mate. They did it with the working class. And so the working class British and the working class Jamaicans, the factory workers, we became the children of those fusion cultures.
Yes,
and that is why we have the UK we have today. That's why I think Yardie is, I think I got nothing but love from it. You know, me personally as the actor, and people I think really enjoyed the film. But it's a film that I think is going to be a seminal movie that just grows over time because it pinpoints a moment in our history and also a moment of us showing reverence to a culture that has existed and is part of the reason we are who we are today. As it now evolves to something else.
So, Yardie's been released in both Jamaica. So you said you got a love in the UK. How was the love in Jamaica and the American release?
The American release was crazy, man. Like, because it was in New York.
Yeah.
And so we were at the BAM Festival, which is like it's a Caribbean festival that they do every year. And just to hear the way each and every culture understood it and got it was amazing. So we had a screening in New York, premiere in New York and then a Jamaican screening. And just to hear how everyone got it. New York, it was funny. New Yorkers, I would say they were the most vocal in the cinema.
Really? More than the Jamaicans?
More than the Jamaicans. They were vocal in the cinema because it's people that have gone from Jamaica to New York. And so they're like, oh, that's us. That's our bit there. So they were extremely passionate, and that was great. And then Jamaica was beautiful as well, you know. The Yardie journey for me has been ridiculously rewarding because it's, one, great collaboration with Idris, you know, someone I've admired for a long time, his career, and then just being able to be in something where I've got more of a connection to my culture now in a deeper way.
I sent you to London so you wouldn't start a war in Kingston.
Yeah, it was rewarding because of the Idris relationship and our collaboration and the fact we're talking about doing future collaborations.
Nice.
And obviously just having a deeper connection with my culture as a Jamaican Vincentian man, and just coming home to London. You know, I've been away from the UK acting
For a decade.
For a decade, essentially. Some by choice, you know, and some of it by just the design of me wanting to do a certain type of work, a certain quality of work, and there was nothing greater to bring me home than.
Do you miss the UK?
Yardie. I do miss the UK in terms of, well, I'm here all the time anyway, but I miss it in terms of, like, I want to tell stories as a director, as a filmmaker, which is something that you know, we've not spoken about, but the world will come to know me as a filmmaker very soon, and also that I have a very distinctive voice, and I think the business, the industry, especially in the UK, would benefit from that voice. And I can't wait to share that with the world. And so for me, I miss the UK in terms of that. I miss the UK in terms of the experience that I have that has never been captured on screen. As a storyteller, someone that looks at life, and I look at stories, I look at you guys, I'm seeing stories, and I want to see that. I want to see those stories. I want to see our culture lifted up. Because I want us to have existed in time. I don't want this period of time to go past and then to point to who we were and not have any great reference. Do you get what I'm saying?
Definitely. I mean, I think in this time in particular, and it's something I said in an interview before, that I believe that we are in the midst of a Black British Renaissance. That there is just, you know, when we was the Harlem Renaissance, at first, obviously, there was the original Renaissance, the European Renaissance, and then the British Renaissance, and then went into the Harlem Renaissance. And it's an emerging of culture, it's a merging of music, of arts, and that this kind of explosion and these different voices that are adding to the culture. And I
How do you think best we utilise it to actually really have it expunged to the world?
The interesting thing is,
from a filmic point of view,
from a cinematic point of view, from a filmmaking point of view, I think that we need more independent filmmakers that are doing exactly what you just said, making these moments. I think one of the problems, unfortunately, is with British filmmaking, it's very one-dimensional, and so we're making a particular type of film when there are many Black British stories. Yeah, and that's, exactly, and that's part of the problem is those are the films that get funded, and interestingly, those are the films that get supported. You know, I was sitting on a panel recently, and Femi Oyeniran was on the panel.
Shout out to Femi.
Shout out to Femi.
Shout out to my boy.
Femi. He's a friend of us for the culture as well. Shout out to Femi.
For the culture.
Yeah. He's been on the platform. And we was on the platform, and we were speaking, and people were talking about the intent too, and so on and so forth, and saying, yeah, but why is it another gangster film, and blah, blah, blah. And he said, look, man, I made a comedy. I made It's a Lot, and the audience didn't support me.
That was a good point he made as well.
And that's right. And so audience responsibility has to be a part of that story as well. But when I talk about...
Would you put Yardie into the framework of the Kidulthood and the other gangster, sub-gangster films?
I personally wouldn't.
Okay, why not?
Because I think that I think, for me, I think Yardie holds a deeper meaning. Like, I think Kidulthood and adulthood, those things speak to a generation, but it's very specific, right? To a certain type of generation as well, because you guys were, quote unquote, council estate kids that were misbehaving. Because, okay, we didn't really touch on it so much, and I don't want to spend too much time on it, but when I watched it, obviously I felt the difference from my generation to yours in the story in terms of what was being shown, blah, blah. But I also knew kids that were kind of like that were grimier kids than me in terms of how I was raised. Does that make sense? Right? So I was like, yeah, I know certain people that live in certain areas that they will carry on with things like that. Like they're in the girls' house and they're doing their thing while man's in there, blah, blah, blah. Like, I wasn't like that as a teenager that was doing his thing. It was a different kind of grime. Do you understand what I'm saying? That was the first thing. But with Yardie captured, like he was saying, how much the Caribbean or the Jamaican movement totally influenced even the white people that were racist at that time, right? Like the skinheads that were into reggae music, because a generation doesn't realise that there were groups like Bad Manners, Madness and people like that came through that because of the Jamaican influence, UB40, all that came through that.
Also, man, I mean, with ska music and all of those
there you
beautiful...
go. Right.
Yeah, Lovers Rock.
Lovers Rock.
What a moment in
I'd
history.
put Yardie more with Babylon.
Aye.
Film-wise,
there.
not with the Kidulthood.
There you go.
But I'd put it in with Babylon, which is...
But Babylon was made at that time, which is the reason why it could easily be missed, because it was made at that time. Whereas now, to have a film that's making reference to
revisits it.
Yeah, revisits it. And then you got somebody that's an amazing actor, and then you got Idris, who's known. So it's like you got all eyes on it.
A moment, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's a great moment.
Yeah,
it's a great moment,
yeah.
and I think.
Shout out to you lot at the premiere, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Coming
shout out to Prince Harry at the premiere.
What? Yeah, Jason said to me, I was standing by the door, and Jason went, yo, Prince Harry just like literally in the door, he goes, you know that's Prince Harry? I goes, where else in the back of his head? He just walked in on his ones. I said, that's right.
No, he had the man them with him. No, he had the man them with him, trust me. No, don't get into it. He had the man them with him. You understand me? And the man them kind of looked at us like, what are you lot doing in the corridor? You know what I mean? And then it's like they saw it's like one of them, the brother in the front.
Is that the way it's Richie Blackwood?
Yeah, he's the one, the brother in the front. He saw it and he was like, all right, it's all right. Stand down, stand down.
Blackwood, ladies and gentlemen, Blackwood, it's all right. It's all right.
It's safe.
But yeah, so I think that Yardie is a part of that Black British Renaissance. It's a part of that explosion of art. You know, things. You know, you got brothers like Collab with the political speaking that they're doing, the books that they're writing, the explosion of the music scene of British music, Black British music. You know, Hollow Man's all what's going on at the moment. And I think Yardie with you and Idris, British, Black British, making a film, not a movie, a film.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm trying to say to you? And then it going globally, I just feel that it adds to that that expression, and it adds to that culture. And I just wonder, in retrospect, when we look back historically at this time, looking back, it's going to be like, you know, these were moments in that time.
I believe there will be.
I'm totally confident that that's going to be the case. You know, I put it as, for me, one of my personal classics in my career. Do you get what I'm saying?
No doubt.
And in terms of the Black Renaissance, there's so many people doing well. You know what I mean? So many people that are adding to that. You know,
and that's right.
A young man, Samson from FEMOM. You know.
Oh, Samson, yeah. Samson's a G.
Samson's
a G.
His first project was a short film that I directed called Drink, Drugs and KFC. He was amazing. Keita Williams Sterling. I even like this kid that's in the new Top Boy. I just seen him in the trailer. There's this kid, I don't know, Michael, maybe his name is, and he's just got such a thing about him. So we're taking care of
one
him.
Of your neighbours out in LA is one of my favourites out there right now.
Oh, Damson Idris, that's my Idris.
Damson Idris. Doesn't follow me back on Instagram, by the way. Doesn't follow me back. It's all right, Damson.
Damson's fronting, bro. You know you look at everybody's stuff first.
Yeah, Damson, you know who I am. Don't act like I think I unfollowed him. I was really upset, but I was like, nah, we ain't doing that.
You know what I mean? So there's a lot of people. There's a beautiful movement happening, for sure.
Letitia Wright, who's like, there's just
beautiful movement happening.
Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think it's that renaissance. But moving forward, because you kind of took up a bit of a legacy moment, the baton being passed from the great Denzel Washington.
Wow, that's a great baton. You get it's hard to pick that up.
And
it's heavy, right?
Inside Man 2.
Yeah.
So Inside Man was a Denzel Washington movie.
Yeah, Spike Lee, Denzel Washington movie, a crime drama. I think it was in the early 2000s, him, Jodie Foster, Clive Owen. Netflix loved the product, and they wanted to continue the story. And so we have Inside Man 2 coming out on Netflix in September.
Boom.
I play this this kind of charismatic Lothario guy, Remy Dabon, from New York and New Orleans fusion. It's just fun, man. It's one of the. I knew what it was, and people were like, "Oh my God, you know, the goat, Denzel, you're taking up for the goat." I'm like, "Look, man, just be the lamb. You get me? Man can be the lamb. I'm chilling, bro." You know, Denzel's Denzel. But I had such a great time doing it. It's fun. It's exciting. Well shot. We shot it in South Africa.
Cool.
Really cool cast. So that's coming out in September.
So it's a film, it's not a Netflix series, it's a film?
No, it's a feature film.
Okay.
Feature film. Yeah.
And would you say that Netflix is a great place now for movies and stuff like that?
I mean, it's beyond question, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's
Changed
beyond
the game.
question. It's totally revolutionized the world.
Yeah.
And how we consume content. And how certain products that would have been lost
Yes.
now
Yeah.
get their platform. You know, I think it's a beautiful... And it took, listen, we're talking about generations. You know, I'm 33, but I still grown up in the generation of the 40s and the 50-year-olds mentally, because I started this as a kid. And so even me, I've had to get up to date with how things have moved on, the power of social media, the power of, you know, and I do my best with social media, but I'm not like Mr. Take my top off every 5 minutes on social media. I don't really deal with that one.
Yeah, only if you could. If you could, you would. I mean, like...
Didn't you see Yardie?
You throw it, yeah, give it out, give it out. I don't like this all the time, I'm just saying. This is me all the time.
You know what I mean? How you doing? You all right? Shave lately, Richard.
That is the one! No, I got to give you the Bob Marley here. It's got the Bob Marley under all right.
I mean, I just woke up.
Looking like this.
Yeah, that's what I look like.
No.
But yeah, it's just a different
No
time
doubt,
completely.
no doubt,
so
no doubt.
Netflix I think it'll be a great home for Inside Man too.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm so excited. So you say that's coming out in September.
Yeah.
And
Is that September here and America at the same time?
Yeah, globally.
Yeah.
boom, Netflix.
Netflix,
Love
innit?
that.
Global now.
Yeah.
It's changed the
yeah.
game. Fully changed the game. So, and outside of that, you kind of made a little hint there about filmmaking. Are we going to see anything?
Yeah.
Right?
There's two particular projects that are on the horizon to being done.
Okay.
But I'm going to leave it like that. You know,
Okay.
look out for it because one's a UK film and it's a great ensemble piece, and I'll be calling to everybody out there to get involved, man. I want to really see us together on the screen in a different framing. So
I guess the final question is, I don't know if you ever will reach that, but what's the pinnacle for Aml?
it's a great question. The pinnacle for me, a silence before the room.
No, you know, because people always say, where do you see something 5 to 10 years? And I don't like asking that question.
Yeah.
Because you ever watch it 5 to 10 years from now, it's never the thing that they thought. So,
Yeah.
so it's more, what's the pinnacle?
I called that one. I did that when I was younger, and I did it in 4. I was talking about being in Hollywood.
Okay.
And I don't know how that happened. I think I was just like crazy and ballsy. But for me, you know, I'm going to introduce the world to me as a filmmaker.
Okay.
And acting side by side, but there's so much stories that I want to tell before I get out of it about you know who we are as a human race, who we are as black people, who we are in our history. You know, me and Jason, he's a great historian, tells me a lot of stories, and I think the framework of these stories can really change the self-esteem and what the future looks like. And so I really want to paint those pictures. And as an actor, you know, we're there quoting Goodfellas and all that, just to be a part of great quality classics, to do roles that are iconic and to do stuff that is fun, and to be mentioned with some of the greats. You know, that's what I'm going for. That's the work I put towards my career already, to be mentioned with some of the greats that have ever done it.
I think you're already in that room.
I love that. I think
you're already in. I think you will conquer that room. But I think you do yourself a disservice by not realising that you're in that room. I think that Yardie, I mean, I know that Inside Man 2 will be good because I know you're good at what you do. But I think Yardie is a slow burner. I think Yardie is one that for the people that haven't given it the chance, when they do, it will just resonate with them. I think it's, you know, sometimes you have pieces that just hit straight away, and then you have pieces that people, they kind of go to it and go, I didn't realise. And I think Yardie is one of those films where it's like, it will stand the test of time
Definitely. And shout out to Idris actually on his directorial debut.
Yeah.
You know, so it was
powerful.
So I'm telling you, man. I think people have slept on that.
They did.
Hang on a second. What you just okay? What never done this? Okay.
Yeah.
You get what I'm trying to say to you.
But I think he had the right ingredients.
Shout out to Idris, definitely.
And
but
I think
that's part of being a director is selecting
making
the right,
choices,
making the choices.
Yeah.
So
and we really partnered on that. And our relationship as actor-director is one that is extremely shorthand and very solid.
Love
so
that.
much so we're talking about a particular project that I'm not going to discuss now, but
good.
You know, if God willing it all comes together, it's going to be something that is
for the ages.
For the ages.
And where can people reach you? Like people that I don't think you really
reach
care.
me, please.
I don't think I know I don't really care about that. But like in terms of social media,
I'm joking. No, Instagram and all the rest of Instagram. I guess, you know what I mean?
Aml Ameen, baby.
He's such an actor, he don't care.
Aml Ameen, baby.
Just Instagram, I guess.
Instagram, innit?
Just hit me on that, but don't.
Oh, man, listen, we could go on
It's
forever.
been an absolute pleasure. This is not even an interview. This has been fun
conversation, man. This is
and you know, we're going to be having this one in LA soon.
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
We put it on there,
You know.
That's special edition.
It's UK edition.
Special edition.
As always, in the words or in the voice of the iconic Trevor Nelson, Aml Ameen, for the culture, salutes you.
Well, go on, Trevor.